I got thinking. Now, sorry to say, I didn't have time to notify you guys. So I'm going to quickly do it now. I'm going to give you a chance to join us. So it's Louis in the UK defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. Louis in the UK defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. And I started watching my Elton John video. You know, the Elton John video where Elton John invited me, right, to LA to defend Elvis Presley, to put me on the news and defend Elvis Presley. Yeah, it's a true story, guys. Elton John invited me to LA to defend Elvis Presley. But it was a dream. Now I started thinking about this dream. Defending Elvis Presley, flying to LA to defend Elvis Presley. Guys, I forgot to inform you because it was a spur of the moment thing I thought I would do on my walk. So, I was just saying, guys, Elton John inviting me to LA to defend Elvis Presley, to get on the news and defend Elvis Presley. And it got me thinking about Priscilla. Now, if you watch that video I did, the Elton John video, about halfway into the Elton John video, I start talking about Priscilla Presley, and I invite her onto an interview. Stacey, really sorry. It was a spur of the moment decision whilst I was walking. So it was a sudden, out of the blue one, sorry. So I started thinking about the fact that I was inviting, Colin, I'm gonna meet you in LA. But on a more serious note, I invited Priscilla on our show, Defending Elvis, Fans Want the Truth, to have an interview with me in the middle of that Elton John video. And I started thinking to myself that we on Defending Elvis Presley, Fans Want the Truth, Team Elvis, we should invite Priscilla Presley for an interview so that we can ask all the questions that we are upset about. And I was thinking, I'm going to do it now. So this is to Priscilla Presley. We here on Defending Elvis Presley, Fans Want the Truth, we invite you to join us on our show for an interview where together me and Team Elvis are going to ask you some questions. Now these are the things that we're going to ask you. We're going to ask you about the fact that you've portrayed yourself in the book Elvis and Me, that you and Elvis had a proper relationship, that he was your boyfriend. Now we know that you had a temporary friendship for a couple of months, and then Elvis in 1960 went back to his life, making GI Blues, doing the Frank Sinatra show, making albums with RCA Victor. So you never had a relationship with Elvis. Now you insinuate in your book that you and him, firstly you say that you never had sex, and you've said that for the last 40 odd years. But in your book you insinuate other things happened. Well, I don't think that's completely fair, because Elvis isn't here to defend himself and say to you whether or not anything happened. So we want to discuss with you your allegations against Elvis, saying that you had sexually explicit things happen between you and Elvis when you were 14, even though he'd only known you for 2 months. Right, so we're trying to get to the truth. The other thing that we want to know is this. You give the impression to the interviewers that you moved to America when you were 15. Well, we know that you didn't move to America until you were nearly 18. And we also know that, yes, we do know that when you were 17 that you had visited Graceland a few times. But you give the impression you were 15 or 16 because we've seen it in interviews. You clearly saying, or actually not saying, responding to interviewers. When interviewers say to you, you were 15 or 16 when you moved to Graceland, you don't put them right. You don't say, no, I was 17. Now, the other thing that we'd like to ask you about once Elvis. Now, we understand that Elvis, before you got engaged, had other girlfriends. That must have been difficult. We completely understand that. But once Elvis did get engaged to you in 1966, in December, I think it was, we think Elvis was faithful to you. So we put that to you. Was Elvis faithful to you once you got engaged? If he was, we've heard that Elvis was very loyal to you through the pregnancy. So remember, you were married in 1967 on May the 1st. Elvis had committed to you, so Elvis fulfills his promise. Now what we're asking is this. We do know that Elvis was making movies during the pregnancy, but we feel that Elvis tried to be faithful, tried to be loyal through the pregnancy, obviously through the marriage. Now what we want to know as Elvis fans, from you, Priscilla Presley, why were you unfaithful to Steve Peck? With Steve Peck, the dance instructor, the guy who owned the dance studio. We'd like to know why that happened. Because obviously we know, or we think, that you'd only just had Lisa Marie Presley, God rest her soul. So we want to know why you were unfaithful in 1968, a few months after the baby was born. The next question we have on Team Elvis, as Elvis fans, is why did you then have an affair with Mike Stone? Now, we've heard from Mike Stone's interviews that you sought him out, you spotted him at different places, and you'd made up your mind that he was the man for you. He was your way away from Elvis. Now, the reason we know this is because of Mike Stone's interviews. So what we're trying to say to you, Priscilla, is why did you have this I think, very cruel affair with Mike Stone? Then our next question is this. Don't forget, we know that you were seeing Elvis for a year. Seeing Mike Stone for a year secretly before it all came out. We also know that whilst you were seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor, because you wrote it in your book and using the pseudonym of Mike, we also know that you were always thinking about Steve Peck even though you were home with Elvis. We just find this very cruel. So then we're going to move on to this. We know that you demanded a divorce. Obviously, Elvis wanted to give you a divorce once he found out about Mike Stone. So then you have the first divorce settlement, which I think was quite fair. You had quite a fair divorce settlement. But then why did you have to go back and have such a cruel second divorce settlement that was so, in our opinion, as Elvis fans, was so greedy that it almost bankrupted him? Elvis felt like he was going to lose his home. We want to know why you were demanding such a large amount of money. Is it $1.5 million? A massive monthly spousal amount. Also a percentage of his recording rights. Elvis couldn't afford it. You knew he couldn't afford it. You also knew he was very unwell, chronically sick. It was obvious that Elvis was seriously unwell. In 1977, when the Memphis Mafia tell-all book, Elvis What Happened, was released, you knew the stress that put him under, the fact he was chronically unwell, that he couldn't afford the second divorce settlement. Your attorneys placed a lien on the Graceland property. This deed of trust enabled you to have a charge on the property, so that you would guarantee getting your money in installments. And this all happened in 1977. Sorry about the wind, guys. This all happened in 1977 when Elvis was chronically unwell. He was obviously dependent on prescribed medication because he was so sick. Elvis was desperate, seriously sick. And this is all going on in 1977. So we ask you this, Priscilla. Why was it such a cruel divorce settlement? The second divorce settlement. Why was it so cruel? And you still now to this day say that you two were better apart, that Elvis was the love of your life, knowing that you had been unfaithful to him and you had done such a cruel divorce settlement. We know about all the details of the divorce as well. So we've read the divorce deposition. So we know many things now. We also know much more about how sick Elvis was. So the next question we ask you is, why did you take the Presley name back? You gave up the Presley name, started using the name Bulow. You gave it up. Even opening a shop, Biss and Bo. Now why take the name back? You'd had your divorce. You'd had your settlement. Elvis had died, God rest his soul, but you took the name back. The fans don't like it that you took the name back. They think you did it for greed, for money, for monetary gain, for opportunity, for more possibilities of making money using the Presley name. And the fans feel like you have used the Presley name to profit for over 40 years. The fans don't like it, but you keep saying Elvis was the love of your life. The next question we ask here on Team Elvis, defending Elvis, fans want the truth. Why did you put Lisa Marie into Scientology when she was so young? Why did that happen? The fans love Lisa. So these are the questions. Sorry about that. These are the questions that we are asking. We're not happy that Lisa Marie was put into Scientology. We're not happy. We think it was cruel. We also feel that you put yourself before Lisa Marie in the 70s and 80s, that you allowed your career, your ambitions to come before Lisa Marie Presley. We're very unhappy about that. We also think that many of your dealings with Elvis Presley Enterprises were unfair to Lisa Marie. We feel that a lot of money was squandered with people like Barry Siegel. Now, everything I'm saying is opinions for entertainment purposes. Every word I've said in this live stream is opinions for entertainment purposes. But we feel that a lot of money was embezzled from Lisa Marie Presley's trust. We feel that you should never have sold 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises. We think that it was wrong. It should have stayed within the bloodline. So then we move on. Why did you, when Lisa Marie passed, God rest her soul, because we love her, not accept the terms that Lisa Marie wanted so that Riley Q could be the main trustee and the twins, Finley and Harper? Why did you jump in and try and cause a problem with that? And we heard that you wanted to be joint trustee with Riley Q. Now that makes no sense. You're the grandmother. It's obvious once Lisa Marie passed that it all should have gone down to the children. This is what Lisa Marie would have wanted for Riley Q and Finley and Harper. So why did you cause problems there? We think it's wrong that you were given, that Riley Q gave you $1 million, gave you your legal fees, $400,000, gave you $100,000 a month, and offered you a place to be buried in the meditation garden alongside Elvis. And 1/9 or 1/6 of the inheritance to go to Navarone. So we are unhappy that Riley Q agreed all the things that she did with you. Now the next thing we're unhappy with is we don't feel that you... sorry, it's very windy. We don't feel that you have... It's very difficult for me to say this, but when Lisa Marie passed, obviously the fans are shocked. But we feel that you've gone on with your career and carried on your career, making money you're still very ambitious at 80 years old. And it makes us feel like you're not grieving for your daughter properly, Lisa Marie. If anything, we feel you should be with your grandchildren, looking after your family. You shouldn't be running around the world making money. This is just our opinions. And then, these are all the things that we're not happy with Priscilla Presley. So if you ever watch this, we give you the opportunity to join us and explain yourself and try and get the fans to understand why you're making so many mistakes, why you've got such a serious disconnect with the fans. The fans feel that it's all about you. The fans feel that you don't love your daughter Lisa Marie. The fans feel that you never loved Elvis, that it was always about money. Now we know that Elvis was no angel and he was not he made mistakes. We know that. So let me just get past these people. So what we're trying to say is this is a chance for you to come back to us, the fans and Team Elvis, the Elvis fans around the world, and just explain to us all these things that we are unhappy about and maybe try and put some things right. Sorry about that, it's all windy and my hair's a mess, but we're calling out to you, we're reaching out to you, Priscilla Presley, to explain things. Now, we won't be hateful. I won't be hateful to you. I will be very respectful. But we do want answers. We do want answers. We also think that many of Elvis's artifacts and memorabilia and his items have been sold off incorrectly. Because we do want Elvis's belongings to be kept within Graceland. We really do want that. So even this situation with Bridget Cruz, please give back any items that you have to Graceland where they belong in Elvis's home. And we don't understand why you keep saying that Elvis is the love of your life when you clearly had many, many, many relationships. And obviously Marco Garibaldi, over 20 years, and you had Navarone. So we're not falling for this thing where you keep saying that he's the love of your life. It doesn't sit right with us because it doesn't make sense, because you divorced him 4 years before he died and it was quite an ugly divorce. So we don't accept that. Please explain that to us. Please let us know why you keep saying Elvis is the love of your life, because it makes no sense. So anyway, Team Elvis now, I'm nearly home. Are there any questions you'd like to ask Priscilla? Could you put the questions on now? So if Priscilla watches this live stream, she can read your questions. Can you go ahead now, please, with your questions? So here's your chance. Here's your chance. Here's your chance, Priscilla, to put things right with the fans. Please listen to what Team Elvis and Elvis fans have to say to you. They're going to give you some questions right now. We've only got a few minutes left, so please go ahead, Team Elvis. Do your thing. Go ahead, guys. Team Elvis, fire away with some questions for Priscilla. I can't see who's watching this. It's just a live stream, me walking down the road. Thank you, Colin. Hi, Stacey. Hi, Jean. Anything else you guys like to say to Priscilla if she ever watches this live stream? So Colleen says make a living off your own back, not using Elvis's name. Far away, guys. I'd like to know why she was so cruel to Elvis. Well, I'll second that. I'll second that one. That's a good question. Why, Priscilla? He was so sick and unwell and desperate. Why take so much money? Why the second divorce settlement? I would say the second divorce settlement is what upsets me the most, because he was close to death. He nearly lost his home. You'd already had the first divorce settlement. So I'm going to have to agree. Okay, guys, I'm just getting to the house now. So I'm going to post this. Sorry about my messy hair. I'm still going to try and come on later and do another live stream. I just wanted to, it was on my mind, you know, guys. I'm probably going to do another video about this at home on the PC, on the laptop. But it was just on my mind fresh, and I just wanted to say something. Yeah, oh yeah, we forget that. The last questions we're going to say to Priscilla is, why did you allow that film to be made? Why did you allow that film to be made? The Priscilla, Sofia Coppola's film, especially knowing, no, once your daughter had died, you should have put a stop to that film. And you knew that Lisa Marie did not want you to make that film. You really did know that. But you went ahead anyway, and you carried on promoting it after she had passed away. This seems very heartless to us. And it wasn't a good film, and it painted Elvis in a bad light. It made Elvis look bad. So, and it was against your daughter's wishes. This doesn't sit right with the Elvis fans. This is why the Elvis fans are so upset with you, because we just can't believe you did it. And I think you're still making a lot of mistakes, Priscilla. You need to make things right with the fans. You need to admit your mistakes. You need to apologise. And it's not too late. You're 80 years old. You could apologise. You could admit some wrongdoing, admit the unfaithfulness, admit the cruelty of the divorce settlement, admit that you didn't get things right with Gracelands and Elvis Presley Enterprises, and with Lisa Marie, with Riley Keough. These are all things that you could admit, and I know that it's, for many of the Elvis fans, it's too late to forgive you, but at least there's something. At least you've done something right. Something right for Elvis's image, his reputation, and his legacy, and for Lisa Marie's image and legacy and reputation. It's not too late, Priscilla. Now, I say this to you in a kind way, with no hate. I have no hate towards you. This is just our opinions. This is just for entertainment purposes. But please reply and respond to this live stream that comes from the heart, from myself at Defending Elvis Presley and from Team Elvis. So thanks, guys. You take care. I'm out of here. Take care. Bye, guys.